When many NBA fans think about up-and-coming teams, the Cleveland Cavaliers aren't anywhere near the top of the list. There's no franchise-changing pieces, there's no direction, and there's no vision for the future. But there's always the NBA draft. And even though the Cavs are picking 5th in the 2020 NBA draft, this is a draft that doesn't have a clear top player. That means we could look up in a couple of years and realize Cleveland ended up with the best player. In today's video, I'm going to break down Cleveland's roster and tell you 5 options of what they could do with their pick. How's it going, everybody? This is Troy with the Half Court Report YouTube channel. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. On the road to 10,000 likes. And let's get into today's video. This is a video for all the Cleveland fans, and I've gotten a couple requests from Cavs fans for a Cavs video. So, hey, got to give the people what they want, right? The first guy that the Cavs should think about drafting is Onyeka Okongwu. He is a freshman, one-and-done guy from USC. He is a big-time athlete. He's 6'9", 7'2" wingspan, tremendous leaper. Okongwu, he runs the floor really well, and he's got an NBA body. At USC, Okongwu made a name for himself as really a brick wall presence down in the paint. Opponents really struggled to score against him. He rejected nearly 3 shots per game. He ranked 17th in the entire NCAA for total blocks as a freshman and earned a spot on the All-Pac-12 team. And defense is a huge need for the Cavs. They were one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA last year. The Cavs can let Okongwu come along slowly in his rookie season, then the year after that, for his second year, slot him into that starting spot. By that point, Andre Drummond's contract is going to be out. I like Okongwu's inside presence to complement Kevin Love's outside shooting also. And I would say that Onyeka is my favorite big guy in the draft. I'd even draft him above James Wiseman. Next up, I think the Cavs need to think about Isaac Okoro. He's a freshman wing from Auburn. And speaking of the Cavs defense, Okoro is one of the best, if not the best, defenders in this entire draft. Any team with an undersized backcourt, like the Cavaliers have with Darius Garland and Colin Sexton, they're going to get killed on the defensive end. So they need somebody who is a capable wing defender. They don't have any of those on this team. Okoro is going to disrupt ball handlers. He's got a bright future as a help defender. He recorded nearly 1 block and 1 steal per game at Auburn. He would be a plug-and-play type of guy for Cleveland. He'll be able to guard multiple positions, be able to lock down the other team's best wing player. In terms of offense, Okoro, he's a raw talent, but he has some playmaking and shot creation abilities. Okoro was solid finishing around the rim. He displayed some touch from the mid-range also, but he still has room to grow as a three-point shooter. He wasn't that great from 3, shot below 30% as a freshman, so that does limit him somewhat. But really, any offense you get from Okoro is going to be gravy. He really needs to work on that, though, if he intends to play big minutes as a rookie. Next up, what about Denny Of Dia? He is considered to be the top international prospect this year. He was playing for Maccabi Tel Aviv most recently. You can play him at the 3 spot. You can play him at the 4 spot. He's only 19 years old, and he has so much potential. He just became the youngest Israeli League MVP, and his team also won a championship. Denny's stats really didn't jump off the page last year, but you gotta remember, he was playing against grown men. Much better competition than the guys saw in the NCAA. Really nice point forward type of player, very unselfish, and I think that's needed for the Cavaliers because with Darius Garland and Colin Sexton, those guys are more scorers than they are facilitators. So you need a guy who can get other players the ball in good spots. Denny's big issue is his shooting. Granted, he has gotten better in that area as his season went on overseas, but that's going to be a big question mark for the Cavs if they do indeed decide to pull the trigger on drafting somebody like him. All in all, worst case scenario, he's a Hedo Turkoglu type of player. I've heard some people say, oh, it's just going to be Mario Hezonja 2.0, Dragon Bender 2.0. It's not that type of situation at all. This is not where an international guy comes in and can't cut it in the NBA. Deni Avdija can be a real building block for the Cavaliers. I also think the Cavs should look up the road and think about drafting Obi Toppin, aka Ob Top, aka Obi-Wan Topnobi. I've talked about him a lot on this channel, and he's got a really strong game. He saw major improvements this year playing for the University of Dayton. 20 points, 7.5 rebounds, over a block per game. He won the Wooden Award. He won the Naismith Award. He's a consistent finisher around the rim. He is a beast in transition, showing solid foot speed. He's got top-notch athleticism for his size, and he is not afraid to throw down a thunderous dunk when he attacks the rim. He's going to have some highlight plays in his career. What separates him from other big guys in this class is his shooting. He drilled 40% of his three-point attempts this year. He's got a fluid release. He's going to be a threat as a pick-and-pop type of player at the NBA level. If Kevin Love gets traded, I think Ob Top would be able to step right in to fill that role. The biggest downside for him is his defense, and that's something the Cavs are going to have to look at. And finally, I like Devin Vassell out of Florida State. So two of the Cavaliers' biggest needs, perimeter shooting and defense, they can all be addressed with Devin Vassell. Vassell is a 19-year-old, 6'7" forward, almost 7-foot wingspan. Makes him one of those premier 3-and-D type of prospects in this draft. He could end up being like Chris Middleton from the Bucks, that kind of player. He has a never-ending motor, and that helps him hound his opponents relentlessly all game. He can disrupt plays, quick foot speed, long arms. He has great size for his position. He can play the 2, he can play the 3, and he has elite two-way player potential. On offense, Vassell is a pure shooter from the three-point line. 41% from 3 last year. He's great at moving off screens to get his shot off. His slow release is something that he's going to have to work on, but his height does allow him to shoot over defenses for the most part. On the negative side, Vassell hasn't shown a lot in creating his own shot, and as I mentioned before, the Cleveland guards might not be the best players to get Vassell the ball in his right spots, so the Cavs will need to figure that out if Vassell is the guy that they end up targeting. That's what I think, but let me know what you think in the comments. Who do you want the Cleveland Cavaliers to draft in the 2020 NBA Draft? Hey, if you like this kind of video, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. And if you enjoy this type of content, let me know in the comments, and I can do more teams and more little draft projections of who I think they should pick. Well, hey, that's going to do it for today, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. This is Troy with the Half Court Report, and I'll see you next time.